Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. In this video, I'm going to talk about the minimum wages of every province of Canada and what are going to be the increments in the each province's minimum hourly wage. Okay, so if you're new here, if you're here for the first time, my name is Iftikhar and I welcome you to my YouTube channel. And please consider subscribing to this channel because I talk about Canadian immigration on this channel and I give you all the tips and tricks you need for doing it yourself and applying through express entry for Canadian immigration. Okay, now coming back to the topic of this video, minimum hourly wage of every province. Now I've opened this map and it is basically populated from retailcouncil.org. Okay, now as you know, obviously if you don't know, then you should know that there are 13 provinces and territories for Canada, and almost every province has a PNP program as well. Okay, so we start talking about the Atlantic region. These are the four provinces: Newfoundland, Prince Edward Island, and Nova Scotia and New Brunswick. These are the four Atlantic provinces. Okay, so first Atlantic province is Newfoundland and Labrador. They pay you 12.15 at this point in time, but there has been an announcement from the Atlantic provinces that they will be updating their minimum hourly rate from April 1st. And I'm making this video on 26th March, and I know that I will upload this video later on. So when you will be watching this video, the new rates will already be implemented, and we will talk about that later in this video. Now, Newfoundland and Labrador, they pay you 12.15. Okay, and Prince Edward Island, that is PEI. Now, just a pointer. PEI is a province that has a PNP program which does not need a job offer. Okay, 12.85 is what they are paying. 12.85. Nova Scotia, which has had the category B PNP program, and that's why it is everyone's favorite. And they have been paying 12.55 before April 1st, 2021. Okay, and New Brunswick, it is paying 11.70 at this point in time, which is the second lowest in Canada, and it is lowest only to Saskatchewan. We will talk about that later. Now, these were the four Atlantic provinces. Now we talk about Quebec. Quebec is basically a French speaking province, and they don't have a PNP program that is related to express entry. Okay, so Quebec has 13.10 as minimum wage. Now, these are all Canadian dollars, these are not US dollars, and do not compare it with the minimum wage in California or the other states of USA. You cannot compare it with that because these are Canadian dollars, not US dollars. Okay, now the most happening province of Canada, Ontario, it has a minimum wage of 14.25. Now, when you see 11.70 in New Brunswick and you see 14.25 in Ontario, you must be surprised. But let me tell you one thing. Living in Ontario, and the cost of living, obviously, uh, house rents, even the basements are very expensive. So living in Ontario is quite expensive as compared to New Brunswick. So if you're getting 11.70 in New Brunswick, you might be financially stable, but if you're getting 14.25 in Ontario, you might be financially unstable or living hand to mouth. So do not confuse yourself with an increased hourly rate, but because they have an increased cost of living as well. Okay, so this was Ontario. Now the next province that I'm going to talk about is Manitoba. Manitoba is paying 11.90 at this point in time. They will increase their minimum hourly wage later this year, but when I will be uploading this video, their minimum hourly wage will be 11.90. Now let's talk about the most favorite PNP program of everyone, that is Saskatchewan. Everyone, Saskatchewan. Nice rhyme, right? So they are paying the lowest minimum hourly wage of Canada, that is 11.45. Now this 11.45 is lower than New Brunswick 11.70. Okay, but still people are like dying to go to Saskatchewan. Why? Because Saskatchewan's cost of living is way less than Ontario. So if you're getting minimum wage in Saskatchewan, you might be financially stable, as I discussed earlier. Now let's talk about Alberta. Currently, Alberta is paying the highest minimum hourly wage of the big provinces of Canada. We're not going to consider Nunavut in this scenario, this comparison. So they are paying the highest minimum hourly wage, but soon British Columbia is going to surpass them. They have announced that they will be paying 15.20. At this point in time, they are paying 14.60, but they are going to increase it, and we will talk about that later in this video. Yeah, one thing, Nova Scotia is basically they have some streams, or rather segregation of their minimum wages. They have two minimum wages, and I will talk about that at the end of this video. So if you are planning to go to Nova Scotia, then you need to watch this video till the end, and also hit the like button if you're getting value out of this video. Now, Nunavut is basically the second lowest populated area of Canada. It is a small province in terms of population, and they are paying the highest minimum wage, and they will be revising it on October 1st, 2021. Okay. Northwest Territories are paying you 13.46. Okay. And the last province that is on our list is Yukon, and this is the least populated province of Canada. And Yukon recently launched a pilot program which was highly anticipated by people, but many people eventually did not like it and consider it to be a flop PNP program. Well, we will not go into the details of that. Yukon is paying 1371 at the very lowest end. Okay, so basically, minimum hourly wage means that an employer cannot pay you below this hourly rate. Okay, so if he has to pay, then he has to pay above this minimum hourly wage. Now, usually in Ontario, you can see 14.25 here, but when you go out in the job market, usually if you negotiate well, you can get 16, 17, $18 per hour. Okay. Now, on the retail.org website, I'm going to discuss the increments that are going to happen and they that have been announced. Okay, first Alberta $15, and they are not going to increase it. They have not announced anything yet. British Columbia. Now, I want to raise a point here. British Columbia has a city called Vancouver, and Ontario has a city called Toronto. And these are the two most expensive cities of Canada. And British Columbia is going to announce 15.20, which is going to be the highest minimum hourly wage for any Canadian province. Okay, now that is a good thing, I would say. Manitoba is paying 11.90 and they are going to adjust it on October 1st. Okay, so they do it annually every year. New Brunswick is paying 11.70 and it is going to be 11.75 when you watch this video. Okay, Newfoundland and Labrador is paying 12.15 and it will be 12.50 when you will be watching this video. Northwest Territories, they are paying 13.46 and they will increase it to 15.20 on September 1st. Now 15.20 is basically close to what Nunavut is paying, and it is a huge jump, I would say, in terms of increment, because 15.20 is high. British Columbia is going to 15.20 from 14.60. Yes, and Northwest Territories only had 1346, and now they are going to 1520, which is a high jump. Now, Nova Scotia, as I said, I will talk about Nova Scotia at the end of this video, and they are going to pay 12.95 when you will be watching this video at the minimum rate. Nunavut is paying $16 and they are going to review it on April 1st, and you never know, they might increase it or decrease it or keep it same when you would be watching this video, but it is a small province. Okay, Ontario 1425, and they might be reviewing it anytime soon once after the lockdowns are finished. That is October 2021. Prince Edward Island. Oh, I did not say that lockdown will finish at October 1, 2021. I said that it is expected that they are going to announce the change in their minimum wage. Okay, so don't catch me on that. Prince Edward Island, Atlantic Province. When you will be watching this video, they will be paying at least 13 hours, $13 13 Canadian dollars per hour. Okay, and Quebec is going to pay 13.50 from May 1st. But when you will be watching this video, they are paying $13.10. Okay, and Saskatchewan is paying 11.45 and they will review it on October 1st. So basically, you can see April, May, September, October. These are the few months when they adjust their minimum hourly rate. And last province, always it comes at the end. Why? Because it is starting with Y, again, a rhyme. So Yukon is paying 1371 and they will be adjusting it on April 1st. So you never know when you watch this video, their rate, minimum hourly rate will be a little more than what is today. Let me open the calendar right now. We are sitting here on a Friday, 26th of March. Okay. Now, I'm going to take you to the website of a lawyer company. Yeah, they are not immigration lawyers. This is not a sponsored video. These lawyers were basically they represented the company that owned Titanic. Do you remember Titanic 1912, the famous movie? Yeah, that Titanic. They represented that. And also, do you know about the incident of Mont Blanc? They also represented that company as well. So they are legendary lawyers. So I was going through their website to talk to research about the minimum wage, and here they have discussed many things in detail. But I will talk about two things. First thing is Nova Scotia. Nova Scotia basically pays two minimum wages. One minimum wage is for experienced people, and second minimum wage is for inexperienced people. So basically, their minimum wage depends on your experience. If you are differentiated as experienced, and if you're classified as inexperienced, then your minimum wage will be different. Okay, that is one point for Nova Scotia, and the other point is they're going to pay you per minute, not per hour. So if you have worked for 8 hours in a day and then you work for 15 more minutes, then you're going to get paid for those 15 minutes. So this is what they have announced. Now I'm going to talk about the weekly hour cap for Canadian provinces. What is weekly hour cap? So basically, most provinces have this ceiling for every employee, that how many weekly hours he can work. So employers cannot make you work for more than weekly hours legally. But if they do, then they cannot pay you minimum wage for those extra hours. They have to pay you overtime. Okay. So the minimum wage is, let's say, 11.45. Okay, but if you're going to work overtime, I mean, if you're allowed 30 hours or 40 hours per week, and your employer has asked you to work more than that, then he might be paying you 50 more cents per hour, in addition to your minimum wage rate. So this was the weekly hour cap. Okay, and also they pay you per sector, but this is not something I'm going to talk about. So this was the words from those lawyers, and this was the details from the retailorganization.org, retailcouncil.org. And if you still have not subscribed to my channel, then what are you waiting for, mate? Do consider subscribing. Yeah, this is Alif Takhar, and I'm signing off.